truth, and life. Here is the Brother Leon Show. You better recognize.
What's going on, listeners? This is your boy, Brother Leon, and you are tuning into another episode of the Brother Leon Show. So today, we are going to have on the show today, Coach Jaye. Her brand is Getting Fit with Jaye. And so the one thing, man, I want you guys to realize today is that God has brought us to a place of healing and restoration. But also, you got to understand that in this new normal that we are in this new normal of coronavirus. And the way that you fight it is through nutrition and keeping the immune system up and keeping it strong. So with that being said, guys, we are going to talk to Coach Jaye in a few. Hold tight.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing, Coach Jaye? This is Brother Leon.
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm real good. I was just telling the listeners this morning about how, you change your diet around during this coronavirus season to keep your immune system up and everything because, I think the one thing that we're learning in this coronavirus season is that, if your immune system is strong, you have a good chance on fighting it, as long as you...
Absolutely.
So that's what I was telling the listeners when we were doing the intro and everything like that. So with that being said, I just want to welcome you on the show. I just want to say thank you for what you're doing in the community and everything. And also thank you for your transparency when you are online, because I'm looking at, the things that you're doing online, the pictures with the whole vegan lifestyle. And I'm like, oh my God, she makes that look so good.
Thank you.
So talk to us.
That.
Yeah, so talk to us. Who are you? Where do you come from? What's your background?
Well, I was born in California, moved to Detroit at an early age. I've been in Michigan pretty much primarily my whole life.
Okay.
I was raised on the west side of Detroit with my siblings and my mom. And, I'm just a coach. Well, not just I'm a coach who thoroughly believes in the power of food to prevent and reverse illness, especially that affects the Black community.
Wow. Thank you for saying that. So how did this journey start? How did you get into this whole fitness journey and this whole, journey into the vegan lifestyle? Because it's, it's almost one of those things, you really got to walk it out and make a conscious decision consciously and subconsciously. And it can be spiritual at times. So how did you get into fitness?
My mom was diagnosed with brain cancer. And from the very top of it, we knew that it was terminal. Mm-hmm. And my mother was she got into a healthy lifestyle. She was vegetarian, not vegan, but she got into a healthy lifestyle later in life, probably in her 40s. Mm-hmm. And one of the things she used to always say before she was diagnosed, one of the things that she regretted with raising us is not teaching us how to eat healthy and and I used to always think that was just extreme and over the top. Like, your biggest regret is not giving us healthy food. Really, we're fine. None of us, are sick. And then she was diagnosed at the age of 60 with brain cancer. And from there, we had to take her to radiation literally every single day for 6 weeks. And if you're not familiar with radiation, you usually schedule it around the same time every day. Mm-hmm. So if you're scheduling it at the same time every day, the people who are also around that time are coming and you're getting to know them as well. So we're all meeting in the lobby and I'm meeting all these different women who are coming to get their radiation. Some are older, some are younger, some are children, some are there for lung cancer, breast cancer. And I just start to look at these women and look at my mom and realize that they are all fighting for something that I already have, which is my health. They are all giving their all and would give anything to obtain what I already have and what I already own. And so I made a decision to honor my mother and those women and anyone fighting a battle to reverse their health and to get the health that should be available to all of us.
Wow. Thank you for that. So you were saying that your mother got into the whole, she was a vegetarian later on in life, if I'm not mistaken?
Later on in life, yeah. She had a really active lifestyle. She was a cyclist. She played basketball. She did square dancing, and she was a vegetarian. And because of those things, her last years on this earth, she got to lead a life that some people can only dare to dream to live, which is climbing mountains and traveling to different countries and going on all these different journeys. And so even though she did lose her battle to cancer, one of the things that I can honestly say is because she had her health before she was diagnosed, she got to experience some of the things that some of us are too immobilized to even do, such as having inflammation and headaches and migraines. We have all these different medications that we have side effects from, or some people are battling cancer, or some people are diabetic and their sugar levels are going up and down. So you don't even feel well enough to enjoy your life.
Wow. Yeah, you're definitely right about that one. So I think that's the thing that we really got to focus on is that, the long-term effects. Effects. And a lot of times, you really don't see it. I think the one thing that really frustrates me about our community is looking at the food deserts and even looking at the food options that are available at times, because if you look at some of the inner city, it's like, you got dollar stores. There ain't nothing healthy for a person in a dollar store, really.
That's true.
And a lot of times people are, they're bound, to shop at those places and so forth. So,
absolutely.
So talk to me. So, we hear this whole thing about vegetarian, vegan. What can you break all the definitions down?
Okay, so me, I'm a plant-based whole food vegan and an ethical vegan. And what that means is that the foods that I eat, the foods that I consume are whole foods. And what I mean by whole foods is not to go to the Whole Foods store, because when I say Whole Foods, people think, if I go to Whole Foods, I can just buy whatever's there. No, because they have food that I consider not healthy for us too. They have food that's full of sugar and full of salt and full of oil. But basically, a whole food plant-based diet is eating foods that are unmanipulated as possible. So when you eat spinach, it's strictly that, it's spinach. When you eat brown rice, it's strictly that, it's brown rice. There's no calories to calculate. There's no label to read. Nothing has been processed. And so when you consume those things, your body can recognize it and properly digest it. It doesn't have to go through any preservatives. It doesn't have to go through any colorants. And so it can do its natural function without any interruption. Because when we eat processed food, that's what we're doing. We're interrupting our body's natural cycle. So I'm whole food plant-based. Most of the things that I eat are about 85 to 90% unmanipulated. And when I do eat anything that's processed, it's still very close to a whole food. So what I mean by processed is that rice doesn't come like that. Someone has to, get it and package it, and it's coming in a package. But when I look at the label, it still just says rice, because I don't eat anything that has a bunch of added ingredients.
Oh, okay. No.
So that's the whole food plant-based. And then the ethical vegan, that's what I am as well, is I don't condone or participate in animals being used as commodities or entertainment. I don't invest in any companies that do it as well. So you won't find me buying leather. I won't be at SeaWorld enjoying the show. I won't do horseback riding. I'm not going to swim on the dolphins. And I used to do that when I was vegan until, as the years go, you learn more and you start to realize that you're participating, and wherever your dollars go, that means that's what you condone. It's as simple as that. So I stopped putting my money on things that were in direct conflict of what I believe.
Wow. I like that.
And then
I like that.
I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. Keep it going. I got a question for you.
I was going to continue to break them down.
Oh yeah, break it down.
The raw vegan, and that's just all raw food. It's pretty self-explanatory. Nothing cooked. If you want something warm, they usually put it in a container and run hot water on it and things like that. Just everything is raw. Nothing cooked over a certain temperature. There's even raw food vegan communities and things like that. And then there's the junk food vegan. There's people who literally don't eat any animal products. But first let me explain. I'm sorry. What a vegan even is, plant-based and vegan and vegetarian. Vegetarian, because people get the two confused. Vegetarian, you don't eat any meat, but you do consume dairy still. Vegan, you do not consume any animal products at all. Dairy is not an option. So a junk food vegan, they don't consume meat or dairy either, but you're eating all the French fries, you're eating the chips, you're eating Oreos, which has no dairy in it. You're drinking pop, because all of these things are vegan. Because when people hear vegan, they automatically assume that it's this healthy lifestyle. Yeah. But no, a person that eats meat can be much healthier than a vegan, because sometimes people just are doing it for the animals. I don't want to eat any animal product, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm trying to be healthy either. Mm-hmm. So those are the different types.
Wow, thank you for explaining that, because I ain't gonna lie, there's a whole lot of junk food vegans out here.
Yeah, and I see it, and it's funny because I see people like, okay, that person says they're vegan, but they don't look vegan. Now somebody's lying. No, they're not lying, but they just have, a different agenda than you may think that they have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've actually seen people with the raw food. I love the fact that you have taken, activism into your journey, because you said you're not going to participate. You're not sowing into, into bondage and everything. And I love that. You're not financing your own oppression. I love that. So how did you get there? Making up your mind, you're not going to buy leather, because I ain't going to lie, when you come down to leather, it's like, okay, you're going to be missing out on the bags and everything. You know what
I mean? Here's the thing. It's kind of like when you start eating healthy, it's a gateway self-improvement, self-development, development mindset. So once you start working on your internal well-being, you will start to expand the things that you care about and the impact you want to have on the world. So, and it comes naturally. It's not like, okay, what am I going to do next? So if I'm treating myself well, then I start thinking about treating others well. And then you start watching more documentaries and more videos. And then it kind of leads, it spirals into these things. Because of course, everyone on the internet knows that what you research on the internet populates your ads and things like that. So from the things that I searched, naturally, what is it, PETA and stuff like that is going to populate for me. And so I couldn't avoid the whole ethical standpoint with the animals. It's just too glaringly obvious that if you are paying for certain things, that is giving your stamp of approval.
Yeah, you're right. And then you look at, how they're slaughtered, and then you look at, the conditions in which, it's like, sometimes you got to have almost a guilty conscience just eating meat sometimes, like, ooh, I feel bad eating this chicken.
Yeah, absolutely. And even, the SeaWorld, the shows, how they keep the animals caged up and in this environment that isn't natural for them. And to be honest, you said the bags, I still have nice bags. They're just a faux leather. So you're not excluding this joyful entity from your life. No more bags for me. No, you get to have nice bags. You get to have nice faux leather couches and faux leather seating or whatever it is, shoes. But it's an animal just didn't have to die for it.
Wow, I like that. I like that stance. I really do. So let me ask you this. and I know you probably heard this question, but you know, what is your opinion on keto, Atkins? How is it that, you know, if I change into this vegan lifestyle or vegetarian lifestyle, you know, are these diets still, you know, relevant? Can I still do these diets, or just, you know, go all the way with just a plant-based diet altogether and just throw these other ones out?
I'm never going to be a proponent of anything that's not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Atkins is not sustainable. Number one, they're grouping carbs as this big bad wolf. Mm-hmm. So don't eat carbs. But when you eliminate carbs, you're eliminating something that is actually vital to our body. We use that for energy. It's about the type of carbs. Are they complex carbs? What carbs are we saying here? And anytime you have a diet that if you feel like you're deficient and you're not happy and you feel like you're missing out on this big portion of nutrients and vitamins just to keep your weight at a certain thing, that's not sustainable. You want something that you can actually enjoy eating every single day for the rest of your life. You can't do keto for the rest of your life. You can't do Atkins. And actually, the authors of the Atkins book and the people who created the Atkins diet, they all died young. They didn't even live a long life. So if they were modeling the thing that they were selling, you should know by following their example that that's not the diet that you want to emulate. Mm-hmm. Plant-based vegans live a long, healthy, natural life. Mm-hmm. Keto, it's just too much cholesterol, too much animal fat. It's not giving you all the vitamins and minerals that you need. Mm-hmm. You know, we consume too much meat. Even if you're not vegan, we're consuming way too many animal products. And that is so acidic to our body. Mm-hmm. And it causes inflammation amongst a bunch of other problems. So no, when it comes to diet, is it sustainable? Wow. Are you going to be missing out? Are you going to have a variety of food? Are you getting colors in your food? What are you getting out of this diet versus just eating what you're naturally supposed to eat out of each food group, mm-hmm. versus going on a diet?
Yeah, I like that. Can we rewind a little bit? Can you talk to us about this whole inflammation thing? Because I'm hearing that a lot, you know, in conversations about, you know, the inflammation and everything like that. And certain foods cause inflammation, and then that inflammation starts hitting your joints. So can you break that down for us?
What do you mean, break what part of it down?
Tell us about the inflammation and how does inflammation affect the body? So the different type of food, there's so many different foods that causes inflammation. Sugar, mm-hmm. Too much salt, just dairy, meat. And it just basically, it's like an irritant in your body. Mm-hmm. And then your body, certain joints begin to hurt, swell up. And it depends. It could be acute inflammation or it can be chronic inflammation. So chronic inflammation is, acute inflammation such as I can eat something and my body becomes inflamed. And if I don't eat it again, it's not going to become inflamed. But if you're constantly eating this acidic food, or if you have some type of infection that's inflammatory. Now, a lot of people have to take medications. There are certain autoimmune. It's a bunch of different reasons why you can be inflamed. It could be an autoimmune disorder, which your immune system mistakenly attacks the healthy tissue. It could be the chemicals in the air at your job that's causing your body to be inflamed. It's just a bunch of different. Sometimes it's you're causing it. Sometimes it's the environment causing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I don't even know which way to address it. Okay. All right. So let me ask you this. You are a certified health coach. So talk to us about that. So like, are you talk to us about your journey with the certification and what you're certified in? Because I ain't gonna lie, I love the fact that you're telling us about this whole vegan thing. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie, that's priceless information right there. So can you tell us about being a certified health coach and how that journey is?
I became a certified health coach about 5 or 6 years ago through National Academy of Sports Medicine. I got my certificate through the National Academy of Sports Medicine in personal training first. I was a personal trainer. That was the initial thing that I got interested in, training. And then to keep your certification with the National Academy of Sports Medicine, you have to get your CEUs and take courses. So by that time, I was getting into how your diet affects your body. And so, of course, I chose nutrition. Mm-hmm. And the thing with the nutrition is when I started getting certified in nutrition through them, I was already plant-based. And so that was kind of an odd thing because I didn't agree with some of the things that I was actually taught. You know, a lot of these things that they teach us, at the end of it it's for profit. So we're going to say you need dairy for strong bones, when in all actuality, I know for a fact that we don't need dairy for strong bones. But the people who are promoting and sponsoring this whole plate of what you need is the people who benefit from it. I mean, I'm sorry, the whole people who are promoting this, what you need, is the same people that are sponsoring it.
Wow.
So if, you know what I mean? So of course, if I'm the one who's saying, okay, you need this, I'm gonna make it benefit me. I'm gonna tell you what benefits my bottom line. So of course I'm gonna say you need eggs if I have an egg farm, or if I have a farm with cows, I'm going to say you need milk. So that's how it pretty much goes. The people who, what is it, the pyramid, the food pyramid, a lot of those sponsors are farmers. The Red Cross says that you need red meat for protein when you don't need red meat. So I was studying this, but a lot of the things that they were telling us we needed, I just didn't agree with. I learned a lot about the body itself, but now I'm getting my certification in plant-based nutrition.
Wow, that's great. So I think I saw a documentary, and they were actually saying what you said and everything, and it's crazy because it's like, you know, with the whole pyramid, whoever's sponsoring it, they could create their whole pyramid. They could create it themselves, you know. And then I remember seeing those commercials. Pork, the other white meat, and they was talking about the leanness of pork and everything like that. And I'm like, well, before, you know, people were saying that pork was bad for you. These people are saying that pork.
Yeah, whoever is paying, they can say and get the information and the research that benefits them. I mean, that's just how it is. You search long enough, you're going to get something to support your story.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much, you know, when I do speak to people and they say, well, they said, well, who is the they? Let's go back to the source of the they.
Yes.
Because if you go back to the source, you will realize that this is a multi-million dollar industry. That's who the they is. You don't even have a name of a person. So they, you have to be really careful with what they say.
So let me ask you this. What have you discovered in your journey that is true? What are the lies? What are the myths? You know.
Oh, gosh, I can go on forever. For one, dairy is absolutely preposterous that they would say we need to get our, what is it, our, from milk. What is the word they say that we need? Not protein, but we need to get our calcium from milk, from a cow's milk. We don't need to get our calcium from cow's milk. Calcium comes from vegetable. That's what cows even eat themselves. And the thing with dairy from a cow is that dairy does have a lot of calcium. That part is true. But when we consume dairy from a cow, it's so acidic that our body uses the calcium that we just consume to neutralize it, which makes us more prone to osteoporosis. Countries that don't have dairy, like let's say they don't have refrigeration, they may be in countries where they're in huts or things like that, they have the lowest cases of osteoporosis because they're eating the vegetables. They're not getting the cow's milk. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally get that. So here's my next question. Almond milk. Is almond milk healthy?
Almond milk is healthy. But when it's always a but for me. Almond milk, the answer is yes. You just have to be careful with the label. People add things to almond milk, sugar, syrups, gums, all types of different. So you have to be careful because there's almond milks out there that's just strictly almond and water, and that's all you need. You don't need the extra stuff they're throwing in there.
Oh, so you don't need the vanilla flavoring?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, all right, cool. Let me ask you this, because I've heard that some people, they are, proponents of soy. Some people are against it. Is soy healthy for the body?
So soy is considered a whole protein. Soy consumed in large amounts is not healthy simply because it mimics the estrogen in our body. So when you consume too much soy, women are more prone to problems with infertility, more prone to breast cancer, and things that too much estrogen can produce.
Okay.
But in low doses, it's good. But really, when you overconsume anything, it's not that beneficial to you. But no, soy in low doses is perfectly fine. You want to get it organic. You want to get it non-GMO. But soy in low doses is fine. The only reason soy is not fine in high doses is because it mimics the estrogen, and you don't want too much estrogen in your body. So you don't want too much of anything that acts as if it's estrogen in your body. Someone asked me recently, is it a protein blocker? No, it's not a protein blocker. It is actually a source of protein.
Okay, all right. You said non-GMO. Can you explain that? What is? Can you break that down?
So GMO it's just genetically modified. They're trying to get the more bang for their buck. So they start to modify things that can actually be grown naturally, basically. So you don't want to get things, if it doesn't say, everything is not going to say non-GMO because, so if you get spinach, it's not going to say non-GMO because they never started to make it GMO. But if you know like popcorn and soy and things like that, you don't want it to be genetically modified. You want it as natural as possible.
Okay. All right.
So it's just genetic material that's been artificially manipulated, like in a laboratory.
Okay. All right.
So that they can stretch it out as far as they can. It's like crossbreeding of sorts.
Wow. So let me ask you this, because what I'm seeing right now is a whole lot of seedless watermelons. I'm like, where are they getting all these seedless watermelons from? And I always thought that, long as the seed was there, it was good. But I'm seeing seedless all over the place.
It's becoming harder and harder to get things with seeds because when this country is so for profit, and I know I keep repeating that this country is so for profit, so that all these things are genetically modified, and there's a lot of things that are hybrid. They cross two things and made one thing, and so it's getting harder and harder to get things with seeds in them, and that's just the way of the new world. You can still get them, but the funny part about it is now they're trying to charge more. You want seeds? Then we're going to slap an extra $3 tab on that for you. So you could, if you're in a warm climate, you can start trying to grow your own things. Or I recently, I'm in Michigan. There's people actually here who have plots of land that you can actually pay them to plant your stuff there. They don't mine it for you. They don't water it or anything. You go there and you take care of it yourself. But if you're in an apartment or you're somewhere in your backyard, there's just a lot of, let's say, squirrels, you can actually go there, pay them for a piece of their land, and plant your garden there.
Wow, that's nice. That's real nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real nice. We I live in Delaware, and we have like an indoor. There's a company that has an indoor garden, and what they do is they grow everything inside, and they give out their products and they sell their products and everything. But I'm starting to see a lot of people now. They are actually growing their own produce and everything.
Yeah.
So
and
no, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. The person who told me about it was from Kenya, and he had this banana, but it didn't look like our banana. I said, "Where'd you get that from?" I said, "What store did you get that from?" And he looked at me like I was crazy. Like, I don't eat y'all stuff. I don't trust y'all stuff. Like, no, I planted this here. I don't eat y'all fruit because I don't. It's weird. It's not. It doesn't look the way it's supposed to look.
Wow,
and it's not grown the way it's supposed to be grown.
That's crazy. That's crazy. He would notice that and say that, because if all you ever known is this is how it looks over here, but then somebody from without, there's like, nah, they don't do it like that.
Right? Those bananas they're too yellow, you know. And we're like, I thought that was the good bananas that were yellow, but he just said no. The way that y'all try to, all these different pesticides and all this different stuff and gases they put to preserve it. No, we don't eat like that.
So talking about those preservatives and gases and stuff, can that kill the nutrients in fruits and vegetables?
Absolutely. And not only can it kill the nutrients, it can block your body from absorbing the nutrients. So when you have a preservative, let's say when you have a can, let's say green, and it's in a can and it says, okay, I'm going to eat green today. I'm going to eat my vegetables. So you get it in a can versus fresh. You look at the label and it has these different, and there's a lot of different preservatives, potassium sorbate, TBHQ or the THCQ. The way it's preserved on the shelf, it doesn't get consumed. You don't eat it, and now the preservatives are just gone. It's preserving it in your body as well. So that means it's harder to break down and digest, because this is something that your body does not recognize, and it's not. They're trying to keep it all intact on the shelf, so they don't want it dissolving, because we're trying to have shelf life to sell it for as long as possible. So when you consume it, the same thing is happening in your body. It's not breaking down, because that was the goal. That's why we put preservatives in there. So if you want your body to absorb as much nutrients as possible, you want to get it without any preservatives, any coloring, anything. It should, if it's greens, it should just say green.
Yeah.
Whatever kind of greens you choose. If it's green beans, it should just say green beans. But I would just get it from the natural produce section anyway. I would skip the cans if you can, and just go to the natural produce section. That way you don't even have anything to worry about. You don't have to read anything. Just weigh how much you want and go about your business in your day. Yeah,
exactly. Because I'm not going to lie, I was like, man, I love Glory Greens, but I cannot go back to the can.
No.
Especially, yeah. So let me ask you this. Can you break down, like, health-wise, fresh, frozen, canned? Because some people, all they know is canned. I remember my mom, she used to go, our store around here, the local store, used to have a canned goods sale. They used to call it the can sale. and that's all we bought was canned goods. But we hardly ever had frozen. Now, myself, I don't like cans. I'd rather get frozen and fresh. So can you break that down? Like, what are some of the benefits and everything? Because you just talked about, the preservatives and so forth. Because I think what I see a lot in a lot of things is MSG. I'm like, how they putting MSG in everything?
Yes, they do. But they want you to be addicted. Addiction, once again, brings profit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're going to put things that keep you coming back, and that's just one of them. You don't even know why you're coming back. It's just something in that thing that I really love. So that's why they put it in there.
Wow.
So you can come return. But I'm going to always say fresh produce.
Mm-hmm.
However, there's nothing wrong with frozen. You can even buy fresh produce and freeze it yourself. There's nothing wrong with buying frozen fruit and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
I use them for my smoothie. I use them just for convenience sake. But they overcharged. Of course, we gave you the bag, and we cut them up for you. We had to pay someone to cut them up, and we had to pay for these bags. So you're going to pay us for us doing that. So you're going to pay more for frozen things. That's just the way it is. But there's no preservative unless the company itself decided to put them in there. But you can find a lot of different frozen fruits and vegetables without that. So it's perfectly fine if you want to do that. It doesn't lose its value if it's frozen.
Okay.
But I love fresh because you have that option of, because when you freeze it, sometimes it can be watery. Because I bought frozen asparagus, and when I went to cook it, it wasn't the same. It didn't have the crunch that I was looking for. So, depending on what you want to use it for, maybe a stew or something, that's fine. But if you're looking for that crunch, that freshness, I would definitely say just get it from the produce section.
Okay, because I learned that the hard way with mushrooms. I'm like, ooh, I found out I can't freeze mushrooms.
Yeah, no, there's certain things that you just don't want to get out of, you just don't want frozen first. And then with the can, you have to be extremely careful with, of course, the preservatives. I already said that, as well as they like to add a bunch of sauce. So you already, say if I get beans, for instance.
Yeah.
You can get plain beans, but you have to be willing to. When I first started eating healthy, I would spend an extra hour in the grocery store reading labels. And this is how I learned. I was shocked, actually, of how much stuff they sneak into your food. My first thing that I did was eliminate salt and sugar from anything that was prepackaged, any preservatives, any salt, any sugar. To say that that's a job within itself, it's a job within itself. They like to put salt in everything because that's a natural preservative. Sugar is a natural preservative. So they want it not only to keep you coming back, but they want it to preserve their food. So if you don't buy this for a year, that's fine because it's preserved on a shelf.
Yeah.
So you may not see the preservatives that look like a chemical, it doesn't look like, okay, I recognize salt, that's fine. Oh, I recognize sugar, that's fine. But that's a way for them to preserve it on the shelf. You really want to get fresh food.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. I've seen a lot of vegetarian brands that are high in sodium. I'm like, yo, how is this vegetarian? And it's like, 200 milligrams of sodium. I'm like, what's up with this? Seriously. And I think what you said about the whole marketing thing, because I believe that, the marketing, you got the whole organic thing that's marketable, vegetarian thing that's marketable. And, it's just a lot. So, you hit the nail on the head about a work in itself, trying to avoid the stuff that are high in sodium and sugar. And I want to go back to the whole thing about things that are addictive that make you come back, because there are people that are struggling with, sugar addictions, carb addictions. And I'm like, what is it that makes people want to crave it and then they go back to it? Ooh, I had a craving for this, or I had a craving for that. I'm like, how is that?
How are people addicted?
Yeah. How how is it that some of these chemicals just make people come back to that?
So the thing about it is, we are studied, and we are all a part of their marketing strategy. And so they watch us. They watch what we do, how we spend our money, where we go. And so they put certain things in certain places, such as, let's think about the Wendy's 4 for $4.
Yeah.
That's in a lot of black communities, because they know that we're low income a lot of the time. If you don't have a car, it's available to you. If you have, kids, so say 2 kids, we can feed the 3 of you for $12. And so it's all by design.
Yeah.
It's all by design. It's not, sometimes it's not a matter of, I like this, I'm going to come back to it. It's what can I afford sometimes. And so they're following what can drive more money to these different establishments. Even in the grocery store, they put the candy at eye level for the kid. So if you notice, when you get to the register, there's a lot of stuff on these shelves that go all the way down to the ground. We're not looking at that as adults. The kids are. They're grabbing that. So as far as being addictive, sometimes it's, physiological, sometimes it's psychological. Our bodies literally have a chemical response of a physical addiction to this. So it's not as simple as saying, well, I'm not going to eat sugar anymore, because you're actually going to experience physiological withdrawal symptoms. You're literally going to feel that pull, that detox from that sugar. So naturally, when you start to feel that, it's not simply, oh, I want sugar. It's my body is literally craving this sugar. So I'm going back to that. And then there's the psychological part of it, where you may be stressed, depressed, lonely. So you're going to these comfort foods because that's what you're familiar with. And that's how a lot of people end up gaining weight and becoming obese, is because the food is such a comfort. And spinach and asparagus, the healthy way that they think that you have to eat doesn't sound that comforting. They don't even realize that there is comfort food when you eat healthy. You can literally make a big pot of stew, or you can make a pot pie that's vegan and just full of vegetables, that's like with gravy. But when people think of eating healthy, they think of being deprived. So they're going to go to what they've always known, which is the salt, sugar, oil, fatty, fried foods.
Yeah, definitely. I think the one thing that I've seen the most, I'm like, man, are black people do we consume more potato chips and cheese curls and all types of, I'm like, when you look at some of these small mom and pop stores that cater to the black community, it's like, you can almost get anything, a potato chip in any flavor that you want. And
And it's also a belief system that we don't want that stuff.
Yeah.
So they're not. If they're trying to make money, we're not going to put things for you that we don't think you're even worthy of, or that you're not going to buy. So when you go out to the suburbs, it's like, what came first? Did we not buy it first, and then so you didn't give it to us, or you didn't give it to us and then we couldn't buy it? I to this day, I don't know which was first, but we're in a situation we're in because a lot of us don't realize how much power and how much health is available to us. And sometimes, yes, you have to be inconvenienced for the health that we deserve. Sometimes you have to say, okay, I'm going to go 2 miles down further because they have healthier options versus going to this corner store that only have honey buns and pizza pockets in the freezer. I mean, if you want health, sometimes everything is just not going to be laid out in this very convenient way for you. But once you start applying it, it'll become easier and easier.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things that you definitely have to decide, and you got to decide it every day until it becomes
every single day.
Every single day until it becomes a habit, and that habit turns into a lifestyle. So definitely thank you for talking to us about that. So, I want to talk about water. I've had a few bodybuilders on the show, and I had a female bodybuilder. She's like, "Well, yeah, I drink 1 gallon a day," and then this other brother, oh my God, he was like, "Dude, I do 3 gallons a day." I'm like, "Are y'all living in the bathroom? Like, when do y'all have time?" I'm serious. When do you have that amount of time to drink that amount of water? I'm like, 3 gallons a day. And I'm like, man, we got the 5-gallon water jugs at my job. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, wow, he drinks almost all of that water except for 2 gallons. I'm thinking to myself, like, wow.
Yeah, that water is definitely, it has major benefits. And when you eliminate drinking anything else, it becomes easier. So if you're trying to drink tea and coffee and pop and Kool-Aid and everything else, it'll be hard to drink a gallon of water a day. But when you wake up in the morning and decide, okay, I'm going to wake up, as soon as my feet hit the ground, I'm not going to consume anything until I've consumed at least about 25 to 30 ounces of water. You already got that out the way. And then you actually make a point every hour, every 30 minutes, drink your water in increments. It won't seem as difficult as it sounds.
Okay.
It's really not that difficult. And also, you won't keep running to the bathroom the way you think. Your body adjusts, and it becomes the norm. So when you first start drinking it, you're going to go back and forth to the bathroom all day. But as you get adjusted to, and your body expects that much hydration, it's not going to have you run into the bathroom all day.
Oh, okay.
Like you probably believe. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You're going to go more, of course.
So
you're not going to be just running back and forth all day.
Okay. All right. So what are, I've seen the different types of water, spring water, purified, distilled, and now, people are coming out with the alkaline water. I'm like, where are all of these waters coming from?
It's funny. I just watched a documentary on water, believe it or not. I just wrapped up a documentary. And so they really, when someone gets, just like the vegan food, when the idea takes off, everyone's like, oh, that's what's trending. Let's make distill, my suggestion is to drink spring water. We want things that are alive, eat food that's alive, the plant. Drink what's alive, the spring water, think lively thoughts. Everything should be geared towards life, not death, right? So drinking the spring water has more minerals. But one of the things people do is I didn't get spring water, so I'm just going to finish this tea. And when I get no, if you don't have spring water and all you have is distilled water, drink distilled. If you don't have distilled water and all you have is that's alkaline, I don't care what kind of water you drink. Yes, spring water is the best, but the purpose of water is hydration. So drink whatever kind of water you have access to. Tap water, filter it out. That's probably the best. Then spring water. Just drink water. I don't really try to promote a certain water because I don't want to discourage anyone. If all you have at your local grocery store or if all you have is tap water, drink that. Because most people are dehydrated. People are really dehydrated out here.
Yeah. Because, I gauge a lot of times if I'm getting dehydrated, I'm like, man, I'm starting to cramp up. And then, I'm like, okay, that's one of the warning signs. And then if my lips are too dry, I'm like, yeah, I think I might need some water. My lips are starting to look like, I done ate pounded donuts.
Yeah, so you can't, the thing about it is you can't gauge how dehydrated you are. You can only gauge if you're super dehydrated. Okay. You wake up every day deficient in water. So just know when you open your eyes in the morning, you are dehydrated.
Okay.
That's first things first. When you get to the point you're cramping up and your lips are dry, you are super dehydrated. So you have to drink water daily because we're expelling water all day when we speak, when we sweat, when we urinate, when we have a bowel movement. Every single thing we are losing, the water in our body. So you have to constantly drink it.
So let me ask you this. some people will say, well, hey, I'm up here, man. I'm working outside. I need some Gatorade. What's your thoughts on sports drinks?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. No. I do not approve of sports drinks.
Okay.
If you look at the label of sports drink, it's pure crap. What is really? I mean, certain things are just obvious to me because that's what I'm into. Mm-hmm. But now that you're hearing me speak and you look at a Gatorade, think of the color turquoise.
Yeah.
There's not. They just added some dye in there, right? Mm-hmm. Some type of sugar in there to make it taste good. Then they threw the word electrolytes in there. But the thing about it is, if you're eating an adequate diet and you're drinking and you're hydrated, you're going to get the energy that you need. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go and outsource energy from these energy drinks. It's like if you are getting a diet that has everything that you need, mm-hmm. you're not going to need a sports drink. Okay. Every day I work out, I don't need a sports drink. I don't need anything but to wake up, drink water, and go to the gym. That's it. You don't need a sports drink unless you're deficient in something mm-hmm. and you're trying to compensate by supplementing what the sports drink has.
Okay. Because I mean, they even have some with coconut water, and I'm like, wow, I guess that's better.
I mean, yeah, coconut is a natural thing and good for you. So, of course, yeah, drink some coconut water if you want, but don't fall into the whole, oh my gosh, I need this alkaline water. It gives me, water is the king of energy and balance and hydration. Mm-hmm. That's the king. So if you're not getting enough water, that's why you're feeling the effects of fatigue, or you can't perform that well in the gym. You may not have gotten enough rest. Mm-hmm. It's not, you need a supplement. You have to dig a little deeper than that. Did you go to sleep last night? Did you drink alcohol the day before? Mm-hmm. Did you eat enough food to sustain you? Did you get enough nutrients? Sometimes it's not shortcut. And as we age, we really, really need to pay closer attention to that. We can't just try to take shortcuts and supplement things. We have to go to the natural source and really start evaluating our lifestyle.
Wow. I'm glad you said that. Here's my next question, because 5-hour energy drinks, it's like, them things just popped out of nowhere. And I mean, they're like big, and you can get them in all types of flavors and stuff. I'm like, I'm going to get a great one today.
Yeah, again. And don't get me wrong. I know there are certain instances where you need a burst of energy. Sometimes you may have a long night ahead of you that you're not used to. Someone told me, okay, you got to work the night shift or something somewhere. Mm-hmm. I may drink some coffee mm-hmm. because that's not part of my regular routine. But if you are a person who primarily has you get up in the morning, or if you work the night, you work in the night, whatever your routine is, and you're finding that you need to supplement energy, mm-hmm. that's a problem. Okay. Because I can see how an athlete, such as a football player or something like that, can say, okay, let me get some electrolyte. But 99% of the people you meet are really not athletes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you're probably just deficient in something.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. I'm definitely glad you said that. Here's my next question. sea moss it's like the big thing right now. I see so many people selling sea moss. Like, where are they getting this sea moss from? And I mean, they got it in the gel, they got it in the caplet, and I'm like, how do I know which one to pick? Is it, I'm a beginner in all of this. So where do I start with the sea moss?
So sea moss, it does have a lot of benefits. It has a lot of minerals. It's good for your immune system. It helps digestion, reduces inflammation. But once again, people have taken it, they're interested in sea moss now. So now, like you said, they have the powders, the caplets, and all these different things. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to supplements, they're not regulated. So mm-hmm. if you and I decide to hang this call up and get together and create a supplement, we can start selling it by next weekend.
For real?
Because supplements are not regulated by the FDA at all. All you have to do is create it, and then you can't say that it cures any diseases, and you're good to go.
Wow.
So you have to be really careful with supplements. Anyone can make them, anyone can sell them. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the label of supplements, they have so much. A lot of supplements, the first ingredient is sugar. Mm-hmm. Then they have dye. Then they have gelatin.
Yeah.
Then they have all these different things in there. Mm-hmm. And then you are now taking basically a sugar capsule every day.
Yeah. Paying $49.95 for it.
Yeah. So why not just go strictly directly to the source? If you want sea moss, just get sea moss. Go to a store that sells sea moss. You can get it, I'm not mad at the powder form if it's just literally dehydrated and broken down, because it will just say sea moss. But when you get into, making it with this and then you're adding to it, and no, that's just way too much.
Yeah.
Either get it in its natural state or get it as unmanipulated as possible.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you, because I'm like, wow, man, you definitely what I'm hearing with you is, life. Eat the things that have life, because life in, life out. That's what I'm hearing with you.
Yeah, when you just take it to a simplest form, the goal is to be healthy and alive for as long as possible for most of us. Mm-hmm. We have to stop eating things that had died a long time ago.
Yeah.
And that has been manipulated in a laboratory, because you want life. So you should eat things that represent that. You want things natural. You want things that are alive. You want color. That's what you want. If you look at someone's plate and you see color, it makes you feel more alive.
Yeah.
So it's not a real big, complicated thing. People make it sound complicated. Well, what should I eat? Well, what about that? Eat things that don't disturb your body's natural rhythm. Mm-hmm. Eat things that have color. Eat things that they have not manipulated. And if you just go back to, let's imagine 100 years ago, we were given pretty much everything we needed. Mm-hmm. It grew from the earth.
Yeah.
We weren't made to have to go to a laboratory to get the things to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. We were given that. So if you think about it in that way, we have what we need growing from trees and in the ground.
Yeah. And
from springs. We don't need them to take it to a laboratory and manipulate it and make gel capsules and all these different things. We don't need that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Let me ask you this. With the holidays coming up, what kind of alternatives can we have for the holidays? Because it's like, man, I want that mac and cheese, but I'm trying to start this new lifestyle. And some people just want to be like, hey, look, God forgive me, I'm going to enjoy myself. So can you give us some options? What are some options so we don't have to, some people don't have to fall off track for the holidays?
Okay. So two things. One, if you fall off track, that's okay. Don't set yourself up to this extremely high standard as a beginner, and then you get tempted and you mess up, and now you feel like you failed yourself and you can't turn it around. Mm-hmm. If you know that you're a beginner and you're doing the best you can, and on the holiday you mess up and eat some mac and cheese, that's okay. That's perfectly fine. There's always your next, just start right over at your next meal. Start right over at your very next meal, not the next day. Whatever meal you eat next, whatever you drink next, just make that the meal that's like, okay, I messed up, but I'm right back at it. Because people mess up, and that's fine. You don't have to aim so high that if you miss that mark, you feel like a failure, which may discourage you. Mm-hmm. But if you're already into it, and you can go to the holidays, you can stay on this plant-based lifestyle, there are some faux things out there that I don't recommend you eat on a daily basis. Yeah. They have faux tofurkey that's made like a turkey. They have the macaroni and cheese, or like last year, the year before last, I made some mac and cheese made with cashew cheese. They have all the different, the candy yams, but that don't put all that sugar on it. Maybe put some maple syrup if you need a little extra sweetener.
Okay.
And everything, you just have to be willing to learn. Just read up on it. It's right there on the internet. There's different alternatives to everything you want to eat for the most part.
Okay. All right.
But just don't make it a daily thing. But yeah, you can get the faux meat, the faux turkey. You can get the mac and cheese because this is just a holiday that only comes around once a year. So, go ahead and do it. And then go back to eating your vegetables and all your smoothies and all that the next day. But you're fine. Plan to eat bad. Like I always say, we always say at the Black Health Academy is plan to eat bad, because when you plan it, you don't give yourself an excuse. Oh, I was just hungry. I knew I was going to eat some, faux meats and some macaroni and cheese today, and it's okay.
Yeah.
But when you just wake up and say, I was hungry, so I ate that, you don't have any discipline.
Okay. All right. Here's my next question. What is your approach to training your clients? That's my next question, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, hey, I want to definitely hook up with her so she can, show me how I can start this whole vegan process, how I can start this whole working out process. So what's your approach?
It's on a case-by-case basis. It's not, everyone is different. So if you're the type of person, you may be going through something emotional, you can't, you're going to have to baby step your way. First, we're going to always start with elimination.
Okay.
What's in your diet that needs to be slowly removed? Slowly removed. So I'm not going to just say, you stop eating meat tomorrow and stop eating dairy tomorrow. That's kind of, overreaching. And it's very discouraging to people starting off. So, we're going to gradually build you up. Okay, if you have an addiction, let's say, to candy bars, okay, let's focus on candy bars this week. Okay. Let's focus on getting you more water intake this week. And then we're going to go from there. Because everyone has different issues. Yeah. Everyone doesn't, some people may not even be eating meat or dairy. Like, what exactly do you need from me? And then we'll work from there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. That's okay. I'm glad you said that. So here's another question. How can people start getting away from putting that salt shaker down? Because it's like, man, I just want to put this salt shaker down, but it seems like I put salt on everything.
One of the ways you can start eliminating salt from your diet, because it's not just the salt shaker. Sometimes it's the things you have in your cabinet that are filled with sodium. Okay. So start getting things without sodium that are already prepackaged. Then stop cooking with salt. Use more herbs.
Okay.
Cook with more seasoning. Do not put salt at all in your food. When you use the salt, it should be once it's already cooked. Yeah. Because the problem when you cook with salt, you can't really taste it as well once it's done. So then you add more salt. Yeah. So cook without the salt. Then once it's done, add the salt to your taste. That will eliminate about 50% of the salt that you're intaking.
I'm glad you said that, because I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, man, I start my greens, I put all the stuff in there, and then put the salt.
You don't even taste it, really.
Yeah, no, you don't. And then I end up putting more salt on it.
Right. So if you just eliminate cooking with the salt and just only sprinkle the salt on there once it's done, you've already eliminated some of your salt intake, because it's not in there already, and you're adding more.
Okay. All right. So while I'm here, can you talk to us about condiments? Because I didn't know. I'm like, wow, sugar isn't. I'm like, there's a heavy sugar in condiments. I was like, I didn't know there was that much sugar in barbecue sauce and ranch dressing and everything. I mean, because I'm like, come on, man. You look at a black person's cabinet, you're going to see some adobo, barbecue sauce, hot sauce, seasoned salt. I'm like, what is seasoned salt?
Yeah, it's in your seasoned salt. That's crazy. It's literally in your seasoned salt. And they put it in everything. Yeah. So sugar. Oh no, you're asking about condiments.
Yeah.
The main thing is taking the time out to read your labels.
Mm-hmm.
I can't express that hard enough.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to pick up ketchup and say, if there's sugar in here, I'm putting it down.
Wow.
I'm not getting this. And you need to know the names of sugar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because people say, oh, they'll advertise on the front of these condiments and all these different things. No sugar, no preservatives or something like that. But then you flip it over and then you see dextrose or you see fructose. So it's sugar called by another name. Anything that ends with the O, the OSE, is a sugar. Dextrose, fructose, glucose, lactose, it's sucrose. It's all a sugar.
Wow.
If it's cane sugar, it's still sugar. If it's brown sugar, it's still a sugar. If it is carbonado sugar, it's still a sugar. If it's beet sugar, it's all sugar. None is better than the other.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. Stevia, is that healthy?
So stevia is from a plant, and yes, it's like the other things. If it is bought from its natural source, if they haven't manipulated it too much, they haven't started adding other things, it's fine. It can be a way to transition from your palate being used to sugar. So if you're trying to get off sugar, you can put stevia in your coffee and your tea, and that's fine. You know, long as it's a good brand and they really have, and it really is stevia. You know, not stevia mixed with whatever.
Yeah.
They decide to put in there. So yeah, for the condiments, just make sure it is what it is. Ketchup is only tomatoes paste and should be, water or something like that. It shouldn't have any sugar or salt or anything like that. If you're getting barbecue sauce, it shouldn't have fructose. Like, you may have to go sometimes order it offline or go to maybe a Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or something like that, because in a regular black community, they're going to have high fructose corn syrup and sugar in there. That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm like, man, you read some of these letters, it's like I can't even pronounce the words on this stuff. I'm like,
yeah, and you're not a scientist. You shouldn't have to take a science course to know what you're eating.
Yeah.
If you can't replicate it in your own kitchen, you shouldn't be eating. We buy prepackaged food for convenience. So if you can go buy tomato sauce, you can go buy things like that, but you should be able to replicate it. So if you buy some spaghetti sauce and it says tomato paste, there's green pepper, and it says a little ginger, you could make that if you wanted to, but you want to pay for the convenience. But if you wanted to, you can make it.
Yeah.
When the problem comes is if you couldn't even replicate it. You don't know what all this stuff is they put in there. If you don't even know what it is and you can't replicate it, you shouldn't be eating it.
Exactly. So I'm so glad you're opening our eyes. I'm serious, because we're definitely going to have to do a part 2. Serious, because now my thought is, okay, what about some of the things that we use on our body?
Oh God, yeah, we definitely need a part 2. I don't wash my soap is plant based. My it's natural. Dr. Bronner is the brand I use for my body wash. I only use a shea butter and essential oils. Really no perfume, but if I do, I'll spray it like on my clothes, not on my body, my hair, everything that's on my hair. Yeah, because it goes into your bloodstream.
Yeah.
But see, that for some people, I don't want to intimidate anyone or scare anyone, because that's maybe too far down the line for them. But yes, it does matter what you put on your body.
Yeah, because I got to looking at my soap. I was like, this daggone body wash look like dish detergent. I'm serious.
Yeah, and if you go, I don't know what's in. You said you're in Delaware.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have like a Kroger or what type of stores you have out there, but if you can go into, they have natural things where they sell regular stuff in these grocery stores, or if you go to a natural food store, they have their soap. We just have to get out of what we've always been taught, because a lot of times, most of us growing up, we had working parents, and they were doing the best they could.
Yeah.
But we live in a different day and age where we have the luxury of the internet researching, and so we can put a little bit more emphasis on preventative health, and we have the power to reverse certain things, because when we put things on our body, it's collaborating with the things that we're breathing in and that we are also consuming, the food that we're consuming.
Yeah.
So if we're eating food that aren't good for us, breathing in things that aren't good for us, putting things on our body that's going into our bloodstream that's not good for us, and then we're surprised when we have cancer.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Or fibroids. I'm like, why do I see so many black women? They getting fibroids, and then they got to get the hysterectomy. I'm like, in all honesty, I think it's a conspiracy. Seriously, I really do.
Oh yeah,
I really do. And it's like, why is hysterectomy always the first option that's put on the table? And that's the one thing that's my gripe. That's my gripe with the medical community. Why is it when it comes to black women, that's the first thing y'all put on the table? Because I believe that, can it be reversed with diet? Can we catch it early? But then it's like, as soon as you get that, then hysterectomy. I'm like, man, why?
Right. And I apologize because when you asked me about what got me to vegan, I somehow did not even include that story. I was vegetarian and I became vegan because of my fibroids. I got fibroids at the age of 20. And when I went to the doctor, they told me I had fibroids, but they minimized it so much. And you got fibroids, but anyway, see you next time. And I was like, oh, they minimized it, it's no big deal, until it did become a big deal. And so I became vegan because the dairy is very inflammatory and it was aggravating the fibroids. And so in order to shrink the fibroids and stop the symptoms, I stopped eating the dairy. And it took a while. It took about 6 to 7 months, but I stopped feeling the symptoms of the fibroids.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that, because I had a dear friend of mine. She had that done, but she was saying that, it really helped her and everything. And then, I have a sister. She had that done as well. And I just got to ask, I'm like, why is that always an option? And is it something that black women are consuming? Is it in the products? Is it in the food? What is it that causes us to have fibroids? So
they were saying that as black women, we were prone to getting perms. Those chemicals from getting perms month after month after month contribute to fibroids. And of course, our diet, we eat all these cheeses, and then we're over consuming meat and all these different things. Our sugar and all those different things contribute to fibroids. But why black women particularly, they were saying that the perms we were putting in our hair, those chemicals, was causing a lot of instances of fibroids for us.
Yeah, I'm prone to believe that because I watched Chris Rock's documentary, Good Hair, and I'm like, wow. I mean, they actually did a little demonstration of the chemical that's in perms and everything, and it's like, wow, man. I'm like, our women go through so much just to look beautiful, and it's like, at the end of it, is it even worth it when you look at the chemicals, when you look at the cost? Is it even worth it? And I tell women, I'm like, look, if it starts costing that much, if it starts burning or anything like that, it ain't worth it.
No,
it ain't worth it.
Natural hair movement now, we're recognizing that the society standards of what beauty is not even what beauty is in our community, and we're taking back ownership of our look and how we, you see the natural hair now, you see the locks, you see the natural textures of hair that has gained so much momentum over the past 5 to 6, 7, and even 8 years. So now you'll see women appreciating their natural crowns. So the perms are really not. We're still getting them, but it's probably been cut down 50 to 70% at this point.
I definitely see that, because I see a lot more women with doing the locks, doing naturals, doing braids and everything. I think probably the new thing that's really popping right now is the lashes. I'm like, man, where in the hell they get these long ass lashes? Oh my God.
We got to let people express their themselves in the way they see fit, though. I see a lot of different jokes and a lot of different opinions about the women with the lashes. I personally think the lashes naturally are more appealing, but that's just an opinion. Anything is trending right now, it'll go back out of style probably, and it'll go back to regular lashes, or at least something that's a little bit more, it looks more natural, even if they aren't. People are expressing themselves through their hair, through their makeup, through their lashes, through their clothes. Yeah. And so as long as they're eating right and treating themselves right and other people, I feel like wear the lashes, do what you feel, makes you feel beautiful.
Yeah, go ahead, because I'm like, go ahead, girl. I'm like, yeah, and I was like, hey, just wink at me a couple times.
Yeah, got a little out of control, a little too long. But some people's confidence is just through the roof when they have those lashes on. So I'm like, you know what? If that's what makes you feel good, just do you. It's not bothering nobody.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: do you So how can people get a hold of you? To be a client, and do you do Skype and Zoom?
I do Skype and Zoom.
Okay.
Whatever. There's a lot of different ways to connect now since this COVID has happened. So my Facebook page is Get Fit with Jaye, and Jaye is Jaye. My Instagram is Jaye Struthers, Struthers. And if you want me to be your coach, I am a coach at the Black Health Academy. You just go to the Black and make sure you put the blackhealthacademy.com, and you go to the link for private coaching. And then you just let them know that you want coaching with Jaye, because right now we have 3 coaches at the Black Health Academy. So you just go to the Black Health Academy and go to private coaching with Jaye.
Cool. Thank you for that. So, hey, we definitely got to do part 2. I'm serious. So I'm going to call you after we get done so we can set something up. But can you give us some words of encouragement and wisdom?
Sure, yeah. Just know that no matter what your family history is, I don't care if every single person in your family has had diabetes. Every single person in your family is overweight or obese. Every single person has heart disease. Every single person has you can start a new family history. It begins with you, and it starts with how you think and what you feel you deserve and what you know is available to you. Every single thing, every single morsel you put in your body speaks to its cells and tells your body what you want. When you diversify your body and you put whole foods into your body, that lets your body and signals your mind to know that you want health. And you're putting things in there to obtain it. It has to be a mutually beneficial relationship with your body. You want things from your body, such as you want to get up and walk, you want to think, you want mental clarity, you want to be able to do the things. Because every single thing you need every day, your body has to do it for you. You have to have your body, mind work right, your legs work right. Whatever you need, you have to take your body with you. So give your body what it needs to perform for you. It's available to you. Just get in the driver's seat. You can do it, and you can change your family history, and you can create a new trajectory to make your family history wonderful. You don't have to settle for what has been.
Wow. Wow. You better preach, Miss Jaye. I'm serious. I feel that spiritual vibe. I'm like, yo, I'm going to send some tithes and offerings. But hey, I just want to say thank you. We definitely gotta do part 2, because I think the thing that I really want to see in our Black community is these these whole eating habits, the whole sugar addiction, the whole carb addiction, the fact of not seeing other options available. Because when I look at your page, I just like, wow, man, she makes that stuff look good. I'm like, I looked at some of the dishes that you did. I was like, wow, man, that actually looks good. And so,
Yeah,
no, go ahead.
listen, we are out here eating whole, healthy food. We're not deficient. We are not starving. There's no deprivation here.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally eat a hearty, healthy meal without jeopardizing your health at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And moderation, you hear that a lot. I'm not going to go on a whole tangent here. I know you're wrapping things up. But when people say moderation, well, you can eat anything in moderation. Actually, you cannot.
Mm-hmm.
Moderation, you should never moderate anything that's toxic to your health.
Yeah.
Nothing. So you shouldn't be putting in your circle moderation with pop. You shouldn't moderate high fructose corn syrup and all these different dyes. That should not be a part of what you're consuming at all. Now, I understand, okay, 10%, 15%, not so good, and 85% well, but there's still certain things in your diet that should never be in your diet at all.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we definitely got to do part 2. So, yeah, Miss Jaye, can you give us your information again? Because I know people are going to want to follow you, and I know people are going to probably want to set up some coaching. So can you give that to us again?
Okay, so I am a coach at the Black Health Academy, theblackhealthacademy.com. You go to private coaching, and when you fill out the app there, you put on the application that you want coaching with Jaye. That's Jaye. And then on my Facebook page, if you want to just send me a message, if you forgot to see how to get to the website, don't know how to navigate it, I am Get Fit, GET Fit, FIT with WITHJ. And make sure you put an E on the J. So Jaye. And my Instagram is Jaye Struthers, STRUTHERS.
Wow. Okay. We are definitely going to do that. So, hey, wow. Coach, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for today, because you have opened up our eyes to a lot of things. I thank you for your transparency. I thank you for your spiritual vibe, because, that's the one thing that I'm feeling with this, because, you're even, your convictions, and your passion for life and for health, and to see others healthy and to see other people's lives turned around. I feel that from you. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your time today. And we are definitely going to have you back on the show to definitely do part 2, because, we got to not only look at what we're putting in our mouths, but also what we're putting on our bodies as well. So I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
So, hey, you have yourself a blessed day. I'm seriously, I'm going to call you right after this. All right.
Okay. Definitely. No problem.
All right.
Thank you for having me today.
All right. You have a blessed day. All right. Thank you. All right. Bye. Listeners, that was, oh my God. I can't wait for this one to come out. Seriously. Seriously, because you got to understand and know where we are. And one thing that you guys got out of this interview is it is about life, and that you can turn things around. It doesn't have to be intergenerational obesity, intergenerational, diabetes, hypertension, high blood, high cholesterol. It doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be high, blood pressure. Your blood pressure is high. It doesn't have to be that. You can turn it around. Any ailment that is hereditary can be broken and turned around. And this is what I mean about breaking the generational curse. Because the Bible says that I will show you my faith by my works. This is a work that can turn into a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle that can be handed down. And this is a lifestyle that can promote longevity. You can actually see your great grandkids, depending on how you do this, how you live this, how you believe in this, and how God is with you on this journey, because we need God. We need the truth. And what Coach Jaye gave us was the truth. And the Bible says that you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
Walking speaking the truth that makes you free every day. Follow Brother Leon on all social media